I'll redeem myself with this one. Colorado will emerge as a contender for the Big 12 title this Saturday. Now, I picked Colorado against the spread in this game. I did not pick their Colorado money line to win. The more I think about it, though, the more I like the matchup for Colorado against Kansas State. But here's my thing, Ari. Colorado has not lost a Big 12 game. Kansas State has. Colorado essentially can eliminate Kansas State from Big 12 title contention, or at least put them in win or die mode. Colorado losing this game does not end Colorado's chances. And if Colorado is within a couple of points of Kansas State, they are in it. They're going to be in this Big 12 title conversation.
Would you say that this is the biggest game of the Deion era so far?
Absolutely. 100%.
In terms of like game in the conference that means something to where your season's going, and it matters. You know what I mean? Like last year, they got off to a good start, and there was some hype at the beginning of the year, but then they ended up losing, like 6 or 7 in a row?
Yeah.
It didn't matter last year. We saw some improvement. We saw that Colorado was an interesting story, but from a football standpoint, it turned out to be a not very good football team. This year, I thought we were getting a lot of the same of what made Colorado go on that lose streak last year. And now, after what they did to UCF, and I think we're finding out that maybe UCF isn't very good, we're in a position where they're playing against a team that I thought was going to win the Big 12 before the year started. And if they come out with a win at home, and this is a night game, it's going to be like, I think that this is going to be a crazy game just because of the setting and the time it starts. And they win, like my entire thought process of like what Colorado can do in this conference changes. So, they already have a quarterback who's going to be selected in the first round of the NFL draft, and they have the best player in college football on their team. Like if they are able to exist on both sides of the ball on the lines and really control the game in a way that I didn't think was possible a month ago, then you have to start doing some math in your head of like the skill position talent on this team is better than most other teams in the Big 12 have. Their quarterback is dynamic, and they're starting to feel good about themselves. Like I think that like your take to me sounded like you thought they were going to win. And then when you explained it,
I do think they might win, but I also think even if they're close, they're in it because K-State's already got the loss to BYU.
Because you're receiving it as this team is built to play with teams of this caliber.
And the thing is, like, we talk about the skill talent at Colorado. Where I think they did well in the portal is the edges, the defensive ends. That they are the ones that, and when you play teams that run read option, they're important. They're critical. If they can get pressure on Avery Johnson, or if they can make Avery Johnson make bad choices in the read option, then they're going to be in good shape. Now, what Baylor did to Avery Johnson was pressure him in ways that made him just kind of lose his mind. He threw 2 horrible interceptions in the BYU game, and that was what cost them the game, really. Or it's where the game got out of hand. But the other question is, can Colorado's interior offensive line hold up against Kansas State's D-line? Because that's where Nebraska got Colorado. Nebraska was coming straight up the middle. There was nothing Shedeur could do. But if they can hold up, because I don't think anybody in the Big 12 has what Nebraska has on the interior of the defensive line. I don't think anybody in the Big 12 has anything like that. Maybe Utah, but I definitely think if Shedeur has time, those receivers are going to get open against Kansas State. So we'll find out. But I mean, Ari, think about this. Because let's say Colorado wins this game. November 9th in Lubbock, Colorado at Texas Tech. That might be the biggest game in the Big 12 all year.
Yeah. I am cautiously optimistic, and I think that Colorado is probably pretty fortunate to not have to play Iowa State, because Iowa State probably mirrors more of what Nebraska is than anybody on their schedule here, right? Because Iowa State is kind of that like Midwestern tough team that actually has really good skill position players. So like they're a really good football team, and Colorado doesn't have to play them in the regular season. So here's what I'm going to say, and it's probably going to get clipped, and they're going to call me a Deion hater. I'm just going to say I'm cautiously optimistic about Colorado, because I don't want to overreact to what happened in the UCF game. I still to this day don't know how they were 14.5 or 14-point dogs in that game to begin with, but they were. But I don't know that it's that insane to me to say that you think a team that's only a 5.5-point underdog can win a game or be close in a game. Like the spread is telling you it should be close.
Yeah.
So if they ended up winning this game, I would have to shift my thought process on what I thought Colorado was able to do this year. And that's where,
yeah.
So,
and I think the shift is you shift it to they can beat anybody in the league. Which, look, as Scott points out, a lot of teams look that way. Sure. How many teams in the Big 12 still have a shot? Texas Tech, BYU, Iowa State, Colorado, West Virginia. Remember, West Virginia's undefeated in Big 12 play.
In the Big 12.
So it doesn't necessarily mean we're saying they're going to win, but the fact of the matter is we went into the season thinking they were not capable of competing for the conference championship, and they can tell us this Saturday if they are or not. Yeah, and I am very excited to see that.
And I also think it's within the realm of possibility, too, that they lose by a lot, and that they are who we thought they were, too, at some point. So, yes, I think that Colorado is an inherently interesting discussion. They are entertaining as hell. I cannot wait to watch this with you. I think we might be watching it during the show. I'll get my iPad all set up over here on the table.